Hello everyone, I'm Papagan, and welcome to another week, another day, another episode of There's a Place, the talk show that deals with mind and personality and the connection between all those things. Like always, I'll start off with the monologue, and this week I wanted to talk about dogs. Dogs, they're man's best friend. You know that, but I've noticed that, well, if you haven't noticed, we're not in good shape as Americans, as a society. Things are crumbling. Things are not what they once were. And so this is evident in a lot of aspects of society. But I've noticed it starting to creep into the pet ownership world. So like a lot of things, there's these weird opposing factors that are sort of intersecting, and they're going to reach a point that's eventually going to be no good. So a lot of my friends, getting older, you move in with your girlfriend or whatever, and you're not ready to have kids, so you adopt a dog. A lot of people are getting dogs lately, and it got me thinking. I'm more of a cat person, but I've noticed I've had to meet a lot of dogs lately, and they're not, I apologize to anyone who might be listening, but I'm not a huge fan of everyone's dogs. This seems to be what's happening. People are more, because of PETA and things like that, people are very sympathetic to dogs. When I think of a dog, I think of like a happy dog wagging his tail, fetches a frisbee, buries a bone, whatever. A super go-getter, just enthusiastic dog. But now, there are these charities that will rescue dogs that are about to be put to sleep. There's something called a senior rescue. I can't believe I'm using the term rescue, but where people will get a dog that's like 12 years old, and they just, everyone wants to save all the dogs. But as you know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So there's a proliferation of dogs that are antisocial, who bark at you when you enter someone's house, who do that thing where they look down and the ears go up, dogs that are too small, dogs that are too old, and everyone is just more than happy to help these dogs. So the stock of dogs, much like the stock of people in this country, seems to be going down, which is fine. I don't have to interact with the dogs. I see them around, except for the other thing that's going on is that, hey, you can just bring your dog into a restaurant. You can bring your dog to work. Dogs, can go anywhere. So there are now more dogs than ever, and they're the worst dogs. I wish that they would I think they should put dogs to sleep. Honestly, if the dog is not friendly, if the dog is not playful, if the dog is not going to help you be the best person you can be, why get it? Why get a dog that has all these hang-ups? Why not just get, why do you have to rescue every dog from the pound? Why not, what happened to a friendly dog? What happened to the dogs like you see on TV, like Rin Tin Tin, or the dog from the Little Rascals? So, like I said, though, I'm a cat person. So again, sorry if I offended anyone about the dog talk, but just generally I was thinking there's too many dogs around, and they're not friendly, and they're not nice. I apologize again, really. I know I'm digging a hole. This happens to me a lot, where I'll start going on about my opinion about something, and quickly realize I'm in the minority, and everyone thinks I'm nuts. But, that's how I feel, and I think you should all get rid of your dogs. Also, adopt, you move in with your girlfriend or boyfriend, you guys get a dog. The dog is going to outlive a lot of these relationships. I'm sorry to tell you guys. So now you're stuck with a bummer dog, and you're going to have to see your ex sharing custody. With the custody, it's not even a child. Just give it back to the pound. I don't know. I want to just get straight into the show, because my guest tonight is someone who, like myself, also has a keen interest in broadcasting. If you're like me and you listen to the radio a lot, you've probably heard her name come up. She's on KXLU. I've heard her on public radio before, and she was very nervous about what I was going to ask her. Not nervous, but very inquisitive, which is good, because a lot of times the guests just show up and they sit here or whatever. But I'm very pleased to welcome my guest tonight, Mukta Mohan. Here she comes. Hey, what's up, Mukta? How you doing?
Hi, Adam. Good. Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, no problem.
So I see that we're in the desert. Where
No,
are we right now?
this is off of the 5, the Kettleman exit,
Okay.
where the In-N-Out is. Do you ever drive to San Francisco?
Yeah, I have driven.
Sit back, relax, come on.
Yeah, you'll have to explain the vibe of the show too.
There's not, you don't get it? There's nothing to explain.
Isn't it a metaphysical show?
Yeah.
The low voices, being grounded, connecting
Yeah.
with the Kettleman exit off the.
Well, that's just, where this was in this particular situation.
So, have you visited this spot?
Yeah, I was on my way up north, and I always get off at this exit because there's an In-N-Out there, and there's this thing called Bravo Farms,
Okay.
which they
Bravo
just
Farms.
built. It's this roadside attraction,
Oh.
which is, in this day and age, is rare to see a new roadside attraction.
One that's
It's brand new.
Just built.
Yeah, like 2 years ago.
Okay.
And it's like an old West town, and they have one of those, shooting galleries where like you shoot it and like the tin can rises up and makes a thing or like whatever. And they have an antique mall, and they sell root beer milk,
Oh.
which is just
Interesting.
vanilla flavored milk. Like it just tastes like a flat root beer float, but it's cool. But I always stop at this exit, and I was out in the parking lot, and I saw the truck out in the distance. Do you see that?
Yeah,
That truck
I do.
says like Bravo Farms, this exit. And I just kind of wandered out into the field. So that's the 5. So the people you see going by are just like us. They're traveling. They're trying to reach a destination.
What destination are you trying to reach?
God, I wish I knew, but we're going somewhere. We're going somewhere, man.
We're on our way.
So Mukta, you were very like, when I asked you to be on the show, you're like, what are we gonna talk about? Like you seemed very interested in that. Most people aren't. Do you? Because you do radio and stuff.
I do.
Do you hate being interviewed?
No. I get a little bit self-conscious sometimes, but this is a great setting.
Yeah.
I feel really at home here right off
Okay,
the
that's
bat.
good. I've noticed that people who are like one thing I like about interviewing people and like broadcasting stuff is, we're having a conversation right now, but I'm kind of in control of everything. And in real life, you're not in control when you're talking to other
Right.
people, but when you're on TV or the radio, you can have some control over this isn't like natural, but it's like seemingly that's the facade we're trying to put on.
Uh-huh.
And so I noticed by watching interviews with like David Letterman and stuff that it seems like people who do interviews hate being interviewed.
They hate the tables being turned.
Yeah, that's definitely the case
you
for
hate
me.
being
Yeah, I
interviewed?
hate it. It's my biggest.
Really?
I mean,
Then we might have to switch this.
oh no, this is my show. I'm sorry, but yeah, there was an episode of so when Craig Ferguson like got off that show for a couple weeks, they were filling the spot after Letterman with just different guest hosts. So there was this one episode where this was good. This aired on my birthday, so it was like the greatest birthday present I could have gotten. But Regis Philbin was the host,
Oh my goodness.
and it wasn't out in like a television city where they do like the Late Late Show. It was just in New York, and just some like extra studio they had. And his guests that night were David Letterman, Charlie Rose, and the Counting Crows.
Wait, is this
But
real?
yeah. But
This
there was
is a
no.
real episode.
Yeah, but like, and the cameras were like on cranes. They're like doing these weird things, but because Regis is a pro and he's retired now,
Yeah.
so he must miss it so bad because he's sharp. He's 70, 80, but he's sharp, and now he's retired and he can't do like the
Just, like,
easiest job in the
wants to
world.
shop.
Yeah, so he was like really sticking it to everyone. So Letterman comes out.
Charlie Rose.
So yeah, so Letterman, he doesn't do interviews. So Letterman brought Paul Schaefer with him because he just like couldn't stand the pressure. So he leaves, and then Charlie Rose comes on, and Charlie Rose's body language was just like, it was so awkward. And David Letterman was like, Regis Philbin was like, oh, so what do you do for fun, And Charlie Rose was like, I travel around the world hosting my talk show.
Oh my goodness.
He was like really uptight about it. So yeah, that's one thing I've kind of noticed. So sorry to like put you in that position.
No, I don't mind.
But also, hey, here we are.
Yeah.
Let's pretend we're co-hosts.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
This is great. Well, it's funny because
You'd
when
be
I do interviews, I feel like I'm not that good at it. I think I don't really know how to direct conversations. Instead, I just come into things being curious, enthusiastic, and open-minded.
Yeah.
And so I just want to know. I just ask things that I'm interested in. So I feel like it's not that different from just having a normal conversation.
Well, I think that's the idea.
Right.
Is you want it to come off, but then also you're a pro at it, so you can kind of like show off, you know? So it's like a conversation plus.
Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite interviewers?
I don't know. I don't know that I really like keep up with like
Oh,
interview
come on.
shows.
You must have someone somewhere, some show that you like. For example, I love Terry Gross.
Oh,
Fresh
I
Air?
do like Terry Gross.
She's
a lot.
great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's great.
And
And does she have
the
a
guy who
long
fills
form?
in,
Who's
Dave something. You know, sometimes it's a dude
Yeah.
talking.
I don't remember.
Some
his
nights at
name.
7, I'll tune
I
in.
think Terry Gross is great though. I really liked Madeline Brand when she had her show.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't catch her on KXLU because it's just a different time.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to really like her too. Yeah. Who are your
But
favorites?
that's it. Oh, why? Like I said, Terry Gross. Usually Earl Morris.
Okay.
With his, I mean, he's not in the interviews, but you know, he does those. Do you know how like his style? So you know, he did that movie about Donald Rumsfeld, The Thin Blue Line. You know his movies. You've probably seen them, whatever. So what he does is he'll schedule for his subjects like 3 8-hour interview sessions in a row. And he's not in the room. He has this machine that he built called the Interatron, where it's sort of like, you see the camera one with the
Yeah,
with the time on it?
Yeah.
Okay, so instead of it being the time, it's Earl Morris's face, but he's in another room.
No.
So these people.
So they get like really weird at first and then really comfortable?
Yeah, after
Because
hours
it's like
and
we're not even
hours.
talking to anyone by this point.
Yeah, and he breaks them down.
Oh my goodness.
So he'll come back to stuff
That
like
is
4 hours later.
brilliant.
And he's in the other room,
it's
so he can,
weird.
he can keep notes and stuff. That's really cool, right?
It's cool and it's creepy. I don't know how I feel about it. Well, I'm trying to picture myself speaking to that for hours. Just a machine.
Yeah.
Because then by the end of it, you're not really talking to anyone.
Exactly.
And then that's when the truth comes up.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
It's brilliant, but then you know what his day job is when he's not making documentaries?
it?
He directs commercials.
Okay.
Isn't that terrible?
It is.
He has this great power.
But he has
To
to do it for the
influence.
money.
Okay, but
Commercials,
what about
right?
Morgan Spurlock?
Yeah.
And that guy's cool, I think. That always troubles me when somebody has an ability to like enlighten, but then they use it for evil. They choose to use it for evil.
Yeah.
So like,
But happens more often than I'd like to think.
well, it kind of seems maybe inevitable that like if you know you can like reach this like stage to help people, and then well you're still human at the end of the day. Like I really hate L. Ron Hubbard because. So I read the Scientology book, and then there was that movie. But I did both. Like I'm into
I saw
UFOs.
The documentary, but
It's
I
good.
haven't read the book.
The book is good. The book is like 700 pages.
Have you read it all?
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Okay.
But so like all the stuff about the aliens and suppressive people and thetans, I'm into all of that. Like that is all fine. I have no problem with any of that nutty stuff. But the way that he tapped into this like cosmic thing and then used it to extort people for money is so evil.
It is.
That's the most evil.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the scariest thing to me is knowing that people have bad intentions. Like, I'm not scared of, like, gang violence. I'm not scared of car accidents. What I'm scared of is, like, people with the intent to harm others. Because that comes from, like, somewhere scary inside that shouldn't be there. Like, serial killers, corporate America.
Oh, yeah. Michael Moore, the documentarian,
Yes.
he had this show in the 90s. I got like the first season on VHS. I'd never heard of it. It's called The Awful Truth. And it's just kind of like a muckraking, like documentary kind of show or whatever. But it's very topical, but it's from 20 years ago.
Okay.
And I was watching it all weekend. We've made zero progress in the past 20 years. The only thing that has changed is gay rights.
Wow.
But income inequality is greater than ever. Gun violence seems to be greater than ever. I don't know what the statistics are, but frankly, one person dying from gun violence is too much for me.
Yeah.
But it's the corporate stuff is really alarming. What can we do about it?
I don't know.
We outnumber the rich by so much.
Yeah.
By 99%.
But they have the power. Like, who holds offices? I think it has to be a systemic change, because everything comes down to, like, education. And if you're not giving, like, if it's, the playing ground is unequal, then no one is ever going to be able to rise into power. So I don't know that there's anything we can...
No, there's got to be something, because things didn't used to be this bad. I don't think.
I don't know. I like to think, well, I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I also think that we often look back at the past with, like, rose-tinted glasses.
True.
And since none of us were there, it's easy to say things weren't that bad. But what if they were, and we just don't know?
I think things are just bad in different ways.
Yeah.
That's all that happens.
Yeah, I think so. And then even thinking about what the future will be like, it's easy to say, like, in 20 years, in 50 years,
nothing will change,
be...
as we've learned.
Yeah. But things do change in different ways, and it's slow, but I don't know. I'm hopeful.
But compared to, like, the 60s, it seems like they're making a lot of progress. Even the 70s.
Yeah.
It was cool in the 70s when people were, like, setting off bombs all the time. I'd be into that, just as, like, a way to, like, get your message out.
Just start firing off bombs.
Yeah, why not? Well, obviously this isn't working.
Yeah.
Minimum wage is so low. What is it, like $10?
Yeah, they're working on it, but I think I'm too hopeful.
But when they work on it to get it to $15, if you
Right.
adjust for inflation, it should be like 18.
It should be. That's true. That's true. It's terrible that people are going into jobs with the expectation of filing for benefits. Like, there are a lot of companies out there that hire people knowing that the rate that they're paying them for full days of work is not going to cover
And
their
the
family's
government
expenses.
just has to pick
So
it
it's
up.
pretty much government subsidizing corporations.
Yes.
It's a terrible system. I don't know how to fix it,
But
though.
the government does subsidize corporations in the form of tax breaks.
Yeah.
So they get a
And
double
then everyone else
subsidization.
pays for that.
But everyone else, I don't know how much tax you pay. I pay like no tax.
Yeah.
So who really gets squeezed is the middle class,
Yeah.
which is a lot of people. A lot of people consider themselves middle class.
But they're not really. I think more people consider themselves middle class than actually are.
That's true. What do you consider middle class?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I wouldn't even know how to categorize it, like in terms of numbers.
I'd say a house, not an apartment. Just
Okay.
even if you rent the house, but just like you live on like a ground floor.
Uh-huh.
2 cars per family.
Uh-huh.
But like, a lot of people don't even drive these days.
Right. Well, and I think that owning things doesn't really mean you have money. It's weird because people are making, like, you can be making a lot of money, but if you owe more, then you don't have any. And so, I forget the statistic. What is it? Something like, if you have, like, any money in the bank and no debt, like no debt at all, you are wealthier than, like, 40-something% of Americans.
Hey, all right.
Because most people have debt. I have debt. Even if I have money in the bank, I owe so much in student loans that I don't have anything.
Do you think college is a scam?
No.
You don't.
No. I'm really thankful that I went to college.
I am too, but I paid for it as I went. But I
Right.
still think it's kind of a scam.
I think it depends on what you're going for. I think if you're going for skills, then it's not going to really teach you much, unless you're going into a skills program, in which case you could have gone to like a trade school. But if you're going to like expand the way that you view the world, then yeah, then I think it's great. But I don't think you can go to college and expect to get a job right after. That's all based on what you do outside of college.
But I do know a couple people, like I went to high school, I always follow them on Facebook, who have like real jobs.
Yeah.
Like they live in New York City, like all this stuff. I was like, what?
Everyone who moves to New York City.
Yeah, they're so rich. What's going on?
Yeah.
Like I don't know what kind of job like a person could reasonably get.
Like right out of college.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I graduated college 5 years ago. I've been out of college longer than I was in college.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a good job or anything. It took me forever to find a job, just a day job that just paid a living wage.
Yeah.
That was my thing. I was just like, nope,
Just living wage.
nope, will not work for less than a living wage. Just
I think that's-
politically.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And you're setting standards for yourself.
Took months to find it.
Yeah.
So, you're involved in the radio, pretty heavy.
In the radio.
Yeah, well, the radio,
Yeah.
right? It's going out.
It's
I
out there,
want to know
right?
more about public radio, like the behind the scenes stuff.
Behind the scenes public radio.
Yeah. So you work on Marketplace.
I do. I work on Marketplace.
And you interact with all these names that you just hear.
One name.
Well, you know what Kyra's doll looks like,
I do,
right?
Yeah.
I never want to know.
I interact with Kai like every day, so it's cool.
A lot of, I think you have a future in public radio because based on nothing else then, and take this in the spirit which is intended, your name is like unique and fun to say.
Yeah.
And like public radio names are weird names.
Right. Yeah. Most public radio people have like, weird names.
Let's see how many we can name right now.
There's a.
We'll just ping pong. Okay. A. Martinez.
Oh yeah. Alex Cohen. That one's not very weird. That's like the most average name to choose.
Yeah.
I was going off the coast.
But she does
Lakshmi Singh.
Lakshmi Singh.
That one.
Sandra Singh Low. Only on Mondays. Only on Mondays. Like she's like taking her kids to school. Like her stories are so boring.
David Brancaccio.
Brendan Francis Noonan.
Oh yes, that's a good one. Oh, Rico
Ricky
Gagliano.
Gagliano,
Yeah.
We
can stop with the names.
No, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Terry Gross, obviously.
Yeah, Terry Gross is one. Sherry Glazer?
Cherry Glazer.
I think it was Sherry at one point, because I was listening to old Marketplace archives from like the early 2000s, like maybe late 90s, looking for stuff, and she used to contribute to Marketplace. So it was she was Sherry.
She wrote it. Name's
and
not
now, yeah.
that's strange enough.
Yeah.
If I really went Ira Glass, that one's weird because like eyeglass is a word.
That is a word.
And he's just like one more syllable in there. Jad Abumrad.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing about Radiolab. Is that the show they're on? This is what I don't get about that show. This is my beef with Radiolab. So there's two hosts, right? One is younger than the other one.
Yeah.
The other guy seems
He's
older.
a lot older.
Yeah, right.
He's
15,
like-
20 years older.
Yeah, I'd say.
So the thing about the show is that they kind of each have their own viewpoint and they bring it and then they reconcile it. But my whole thing is the guy who's older obviously knows more. I want to see.
So why don't they just go with him the entire time?
Yeah, he has more life experience.
But Jad like taps into the questions we're asking.
Robert Krolich,
Yeah.
that's his name. But I would just go with
We
him.
listen to a lot of radio.
I love the radio.
Cool.
I love any kind of media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any kind of media?
Yeah. Name a type of media, I'll tell you what I like about it.
Like newspapers?
Oh, no, I hate newspapers.
Okay.
I was talking about this.
Okay.
My dad and I were watching tonight a bunch of old VHS tapes he has. Because, I'm like an expert on VHS.
Yeah, you are an expert
I
on
am. And people,
VHS.
I actually
I
today.
want to hear more about VHS too. After the newspaper.
Yeah.
We'll get to the newspapers first.
Well, no, we were just like watching stuff because like you wanted to digitize stuff, and we were just kind of talking about like stuff. We were watching the video of my first communion, and it was like 1997, 1986, and we were like, oh, well, this is about to happen in history. We're talking about all this stuff, and I was like, you know what my biggest beef from childhood is? When I was in 4th grade, we had to do a thing every Thursday called Current Events, where we had to get a newspaper and then read the article, which, by the way, inverted pyramid, first paragraph tells you who, what, when, where, but then we have to write, like, what the article is
I
about.
remember doing
Yeah,
this too.
right. And my whole thing was like, I gotta go to the corner and spend 25 cents on a newspaper, then I gotta cut it out, and then I gotta like fill out this sheet. Like, who just watch TV? Who cares? Guess what they don't have very much of anymore?
What?
Newspapers. Just get on your phone, and the news is fresh. It's brand new news constantly. Your phone will
That's
buzz
true.
when new stuff happens. So I turned out I was right about that. So I don't like newspapers.
Okay.
That's the only type of media I don't like.
Because you have to put in more effort? Or
Just,
because
it's
you have
not-
to- it's not as up to date.
Yeah, it's just because like the point of it is that it's
News.
not.
Anymore if it's the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Although there are certain newspapers I like the Christian Science Monitor.
Okay.
That's a good
Never read
newspaper.
that one.
Oh, you should. I think it's free. If you ever see it around, it's like $1. But the whole thing about that is that they only report on good news.
Really?
Their mission statement is do no harm.
Oh my goodness, that is so fun.
Yeah,
I would
isn't
love
it?
to read that.
Yeah, I read one time, I read in the Christian Science Monitor about Gallup polls
Okay.
based in Omaha and like how they do them. And, you know, a lot of the research is from like
Yeah, how
contracts.
do you do Gallup polls?
Just a phone bank.
Okay.
But a lot of it is like a company will hire them
Uh-huh.
to do research, whatever, and then that will subsidize like the stuff about who do you think's going to win the election
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Wow, where can I find the Christian Science Monitor?
At a Christian Science reading room.
Okay. Oh, really? That's where they carry them there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's one at, what is that hotel with the elevators in downtown?
The Bradbury Building?
No, it's the one with the 4 elevators and they're different colors. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
It was in some 80s movies. Oh, I forget the name of it.
From Blade Runner. It's the Bradbury Building.
Not the Bradbury Building.
sure it's not
That's
the
the one with the staircases.
What's that?
Yes, the Bonaventure.
Okay,
There's a Christian Science room in there.
that's cool.
I don't know why I remember that.
Well-
I think I saw the sign. I was attracted to the neon sign. And I was like, that's a funny placement. It's more like a mall in here. So
Do you like neon?
I do. I love
it's cool.
neon signs.
What are some of your favorite neon signs?
Oh, goodness. Favorite neon signs?
Like when you see neon sign, like what did you picture in your mind?
I went to, well, I think one of my favorite places of all time was the Neon Boneyard in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I've only been to Vegas once, and I went to see this.
Is that why you went?
Well, I went because my aunt was in town, and she's from Mexico and had always wanted to go to Vegas. And I was like, okay, but we have to go to Old Vegas, and we're going to to the Neon Boneyard. But that was amazing because they weren't lit up, but at night they light up a few of them. But just seeing how large scale they were and knowing that these were the originals and that the entire purpose of them was to direct people to a place was amazing. It's like you put so much effort into bringing people to your establishment. Did it live up to that standard? Like, did it live up to people's expectations? I don't know, but yeah, there were a lot of good ones. There was one with a little it was a dry cleaning one from like the 30s, and it had a shirt smoking a cigarette, and the cigarette lit up and like moved.
That's
like its
cool.
hand moved up and down, so it lit up in different places. I just got really excited talking about neon signs.
They're cool. I like the neon sign of the lady diving. Have
Oh,
you seen
yeah,
that one?
I have seen that one.
She's cool. The Frolic Room on Hollywood Boulevard. It's like Hollywood and Vine.
I don't know that I remember that one.
It's kind of like a low-key one. There was a Huell Howser where he went on the neon tour.
Oh, I've always wanted to do that. It's back this summer.
Is it?
It is, yeah.
Well, we'll
it's
have to
only
go.
summer months.
But
The bus tour.
yeah, but the guy who was like the host of it was like, he was a neon snob.
Okay.
So, like Huell was like, now what about this sign here? And he's like, well, that's just a fiberglass sign with backlighting.
Right,
That doesn't
it's
really
real
impress
neon
me. That's what he's
sign.
like. That doesn't really impress me. He's like a snob.
Yeah.
But I did learn about neon. You like Huell, right? I think we
Oh,
talked
I
about
love-
this.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
he's the
love
best,
Huell.
right?
Yeah, cool.
He did an episode where he went to Vegas and he only went to things that weren't related to gambling because he was very wholesome. And you know what else about Huell? Bring it full circle. Christian Scientist.
No way. Really?
I
Is that why he was so optimistic? And because he only read good news?
I figured it out because in the documentary they did, Golden State of Mind, they interview his like pastor, and so it's like the Hollywood Spiritual Center or whatever. So I went to it, and it's a religious science, which is very similar to Christian Science. It's a little more progressive.
Okay.
But I was like, okay, it seems like Huell would be into like this positivity or whatever. But then I realized, like, remember how he just died suddenly? He didn't believe in going to the doctor.
That's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's so sad.
Is it though?
I don't know.
I mean, his legacy
guess
would have
every-
been perfect forever.
Yeah. I went, like a little bit before he passed away, I went to see him speak at Chapman University.
Oh, you went to that?
Yeah, and it was amazing. So it was great because he speaks in person. He spoke exactly like he did on the show. Like everything about him seemed like it. He was in character when he was speaking. I don't know what he's actually like, but my favorite thing was that I've never seen anyone get surrounded by people like Huell was surrounded, like 80-year-old women running, like actually running after him in like little heels, and people just like lined up. I waited in a really long line to take a picture with him.
Did you get the picture?
I got the picture. And people had tattoos of Huell that they were showing him.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it was amazing.
Huell, everything he did is for like 10-year-old boys or 80-year-old women.
Yeah, and then us.
Well, like, I'm a little bit of both.
Yeah.
We all are.
I think I was really young when I started watching him. I don't have very many home recordings of me. Like, I don't know why. The technology to do home video existed when I was a kid, but my parents never really did it. But I do have one video of me, I think I was in 3rd grade, and my parents and I are driving through like Central California somewhere, and there are these like huge red rocks, and it's just me like imitating Huell. And I'm like, oh, look over there, like, look at those red rocks, that's amazing. And it's like 9-year-old Mukta, like,
that's tight.
doing Huell Howser impressions. And that's one of my only home videos.
Great. Well, that's not too far off from the actual show.
Right.
The show is just basically home videos.
Yeah, just one guy following him around. No editing.
Louis.
Yeah.
Later it was Cameron. And it's on the Chapman website. He did a show, which I've never seen on TV, but it's on the website. It's called The Bench.
Okay.
And it's not even...
Wait, this is the one where he sits on a bench and just talks to people?
He just talks to... it's amazing. It's so heavy. He goes to the park and just talks to the type of people who go to the park.
Right.
So he's like there, and there's like these guys sitting around there eating like a hot and ready. And he's like, now what are you all doing? They're like, oh, we had community service and we're on our lunch break. He's like, well, what'd you do to get the community service? And the guy's like, driving without insurance. And he's like talking to him. He kneels down. He's like, now you know you're not supposed to be doing that. And the guy's like, hey, it's expensive. It's expensive to live. It's like, oh, there's one where he goes to...
When you talk to real people.
He goes to Hollywood Boulevard. And so he's like, oh, here comes a guy. And he's like on rollerblades. And so he's like, you see him from like a mile away. Like, it's so far. It's a great shot. Louis was a great cameraman. But he's like he's skating. And then he was like, well, hey, let me talk to you. And he does that thing to like stop. And he just, bam, right on the ground.
I love it because only Huell could get away with causing that.
Yeah, and they just like left it in. And so that guy talks. So then he meets this guy who's like with his niece and his brother, and it's like, oh, this is my niece. She's going to Capitol Records to have an audition. She's a great singer or whatever. So it's like, all right, well, we'll check in with you later, see how it went. So the whole episode goes, and then she comes back, and he's like, so how did it go at your audition? She's like, well, it wasn't really. He's like, it wasn't really an audition. We just went and see if anybody would hear me sing. He's like, well, did anyone come down? She's like, well, security guard. And he's like, well, how about you sing a little bit for us? And she goes, can I sing the whole song? And Huell goes, of course you can. So sweet. Also,
I love it.
The
you should do something like this.
Yeah.
You should take There Is a Place out into a different place.
And just do Huell. We did one, Adam, who's in there. We did one thing. We went to like a geology museum.
Okay, that's
but
cool.
it didn't turn out too good. I want to try it again.
Yeah.
It's called The Good Old Days. We never did. Adam, take a note. If you're in the control room, we should shoot more Huell Howser type segments.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We should go to outer space while we're here.
Yeah, if you guys can load up outer space in the next 25 minutes.
That's where I want to go.
15 minutes, wow. No space tonight.
Space?
We'll just go there in your mind, you know.
Yeah. What places?
Well, right now we're at the Egyptian movie theater.
We are. Look at that.
I like the Egyptian better than Chinese theater.
Yeah.
As a theater.
Uh-huh.
But the footprints.
Footprints and the handprints.
Yeah. There's like 2 horses that have footprints there.
Wait, really?
Roy Rogers' Trigger, you know that horse?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, he's like the most famous horse in the world, Trigger. And then there's some other horse from like the 20s who I'd never even heard of until I was there.
Isn't there one for like pets somewhere too?
Oh, in Burbank.
Yes.
There's like all the winner of like the show business pet awards. and it's like dog, dog, cat, duck. Like one year, a duck won. I thought that was really cool. It's like a horse. Yeah, it's in Burbank at the ASPCA or whatever. And then it like stops at 1971. It's like, yeah, that's when the world went to shit. When they stopped recognizing animals and their contribution to show
Another
business.
thing you should do. You should start recognizing animal contributions. Except, didn't you just say to get rid of your dogs?
If the dog isn't charismatic. I'm sick of like dogs that bark at me. I'm sick of dogs that like do the thing with their ears.
Do the thing with their ears.
You know, like dogs who are weird will like, their ears will be like kind of cockeyed. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Because they grew up abused. I'm so sick of that. Just
You're a cat person.
Just get a friendly dog. The cat, there's no expectation at all. It's nice if the cat comes around.
I'm kind of scared of cats. Like I used to be a cat person, and now my roommate has a cat, and I fed her today. I gave her food, and she still hissed at me. And I was like, I just gave you food.
You gotta give them a little bit. You know, it's you earn the affection.
Yeah.
Cats are more like people.
Dogs though. Like
Easy.
dogs, I feel like
Easy. Dogs are too easy.
it's all recent though.
Okay, but before you liked cats.
Yeah. I had 2 cats growing up. I never had dogs, and so I was kind of scared of dogs for a long time. And then I started meeting dogs that were nice, and I was like, wait, you're not trying to bite me?
We had a dog stay with us, which is a weird thing to say because usually people are staying with us, but I don't know. My Madison's friends had a dog, and she was cool. This dog was cool. She was just like, I walked to the living room, the dog would just be on the couch. It was nice. But we've had other dogs come over that would like bark at me and be all weird. It's like, I live here. You're a guest. Like, what are you doing?
You're a guest.
I don't know. I wouldn't tolerate that
That's
from a
what
person.
I want to say to Lucky. It's Kara's cat. But
What about reptile people?
I've never really gotten into reptiles.
Too weird.
Yeah.
Reptiles don't feel any kind of they're not affectionate.
No, they're not. They're not affectionate.
They don't have any concept of that at all.
Yeah, reptiles. I like looking at them, but I wouldn't want to touch one. So I definitely wouldn't want one in my house.
Speaking of houses with reptiles, the reptile house at the zoo, that's the tightest part of the zoo.
I don't know that have I been? Wait, they have the huge snakes, right?
Yeah, at the LA Zoo.
Yes.
You go into like this
I have
octagon.
been. Yeah.
It's like this maze.
I have
And there's.
been.
Do you remember when Sharon Stone's husband got his foot bitten off by a kimono dragon at the LA Zoo?
No.
This is a news story from the mid-90s that I was
Okay.
thinking of. I saw something with Sharon Stone in it recently, and I was just like, her husband in like the 90s, because they were celebrities, they got like a behind-the-scenes thing with the reptiles, and a kimono dragon bit his foot off.
Off?
Well, part of it off.
Oh my god.
It was a big news story.
That's crazy.
I'm side with the dragon on this one.
When I was growing up, I had an elementary school friend whose dad owned a place called Priestwork Pets, and it was in Orange County. It's still there. So he owns a reptile store, and I remember always going to everyone had their birthday parties there because they had two-headed snake, they had snapping turtles, they had all kinds of snakes and lizards. That was really cool. I actually really liked Prehistoric Pets.
Sounds
I would go
cool.
back now that I'm
What's-
remembering it exists.
What's up with the two-headed snake?
They just had one.
But I feel like you see them a lot compared to other animals that don't have two heads.
Maybe it's easier for,
Because there's like less
snake.
appendages.
yeah.
Is it the same kind of thing with like a conjoined twin situation?
I think
Probably.
it's similar. Yeah, like sharing the same body, but
Yeah.
they just have like two minds. But I think it'd be easier for a snake to like be deformed because there's less to work with.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
That sucks as the snake though. Like a snake can only in one direction.
that's
They
true.
have so little to work
How
with.
does a snake do that?
Well,
They have to work together.
that's nice though.
Yeah.
Different conjoined twin formations. There's those Chinese conjoined twins.
I'm not up to date with conjoined twins.
The famous conjoined twins, those Chinese, like Ang and Yang
Okay.
were their names.
Are these the ones that have been around for a while?
The ones from like the 40s, or you know what I'm talking
okay,
about, like, from
yes,
Ripley's. there were like literally two people, and there was like this much attaching
Yeah.
them, and they both had wives.
That's something
That's cool.
that is cool. I would love to talk to a conjoined twin. To
Me
see
too.
what that's like. I've never encountered one in person.
Yeah, me neither.
I wonder what they have to say.
I think what happens is they try to separate them, and then one dies.
Yeah.
Usually, like, one is the weaker one. That must be a burden.
To know if you're the one that makes it.
Well, because like twins have like a connection. Like Elvis was a twin.
I didn't know that.
His brother's name was Jesse, and he was stillborn.
Oh, wow.
And Elvis always felt immense guilt
Because he took all the
because he was
energy
given
and
so
all
much
of the-
talent. He just had such an effect on people, and he was just so handsome and good at singing. And he felt very guilty that he was given so much.
Yeah.
But that, because the family of the Presleys, they were very close because it was just the three of them. So he always felt guilty. That's what Bubba Hotep is about. You ever see that movie?
No, I haven't seen that.
It's good. It's like a fake horror movie. It's got Bruce Campbell from Evil Dead.
Okay. I don't watch scary movies.
But I don't either. But I've never seen Evil Dead, but he's in it. And he's the guy from that. I was hoping that you. I was trying to
watch
pass.
scary movies.
Yeah. But yeah, the thing is like he is Jesse, but like he just lived undercover his whole life, and then it becomes like a mummy movie. It's a cool movie.
What is this movie called?
Bubba Hotep.
Bubba Hotep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Like
have to look
Imhotep.
into this one.
Do you know Imhotep?
No.
Imhotep, the famous Egyptian. People who are into Egyptians, like the
Okay.
Shriners and stuff, they love Imhotep.
Okay, why is that?
I'm not sure. Why do people love the Egyptians so much? We talk about this a lot on this show. We do the Egyptian background.
Oh, we're not in Egypt.
No, that's
anymore.
okay. I'm sure some of these people
What
love the
draws
Egyptians.
you to it?
The Egyptians?
Yeah.
I don't like them, actually.
No, you just chose the location.
Well, here we are. Okay, so I
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
now we're
hieroglyphics.
back.
I love the people with the heads. I like the bird,
Maybe because it's like fantasy.
but
I'm not really into fantasy.
what made? Oh, I hate fantasy. That's my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah, I don't watch any fantasy movies, but
Everything that's fantasy is the same. Like, I know all genres are the same, but fantasy is the most the same. They're all about realms,
realms.
dragons,
Well, they're all
and
about,
how
like,
scarce
journeys.
the dragon eggs are. You'll never see a fantasy about like, oh, there's too many. What are we gonna do with all these dragons? There's too many dragon eggs here. No, the dragon eggs are always rare. Give me a break.
What are fantasy movies supposed to represent again? Something about like our psyche. Doesn't every genre represent? a
Oh, I've
different-
never heard that.
I don't know, or maybe I'm making this up, but I feel like fantasy movies are about like journeys, and I can't remember if they're like personal journeys.
Are you talking about the Joseph Campbell thing, like the
No, I have
you know?
no idea what I'm
okay.
drawing this from. But that sounds right, doesn't it?
Well, there's that.
Like there's like always like a hero. There's always someone in search of like a personal like journey.
Yeah, but then there's also that thing where there's only like 3 stories, you know?
Yeah.
It's like man versus society, man versus man versus himself, or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's true.
But fantasy seems the most the same.
The most the same. I mean the dragon eggs.
I hate dragon eggs, God. Spells, they like, they always like, I hate Game of Thrones. I hate it so much.
I watched like 10 minutes of it, and then I gave up.
It's just
But
like,
it's huge.
It's huge.
It's enormous.
You sheep.
I forget that like people watch all of that. I don't really watch much TV, so I don't really keep up with that. But it surprised me when I found out that Game of Thrones is big.
people love it, and they always take place in like this weird version of Europe where there's like hundreds of people living in these towns, but there's like no farms or anything. That bugs me a lot when things aren't like,
Like
Not-
not logically sound.
yeah, not
This
even
does not
historically
make any
accurate, but
sense.
just like you know when you watch a Western and there'll be like a town and there'll just be like a ton of people hanging around at the saloon. It's like, no, they'd be on their farms.
Right.
Like this is the Old West. There's like nobody here. Like that stuff like that always bothers me where it's just like,
How are you gonna get the story across though, if you can't?
if, you know, if it's there's a way to do it where, like in improv class, like the governing thing is like, if this is true, what else is true? So if you can establish a base reality, then it's fine. Like Star Wars, I'm not big, I'm not 10 years old. I'm like huge on Star Wars, but that it's like, okay, they're flying around in space. There's the bad guys. Like I get like the base reality is fine for me. But when it comes
to when your base reality doesn't make any sense,
it's just like,
you're right.
Yeah, I can't
base the story off that.
Yeah, and then I can't, that prevents me from relating to like the human aspects, which is what they're trying to convey in the story anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
What are some of your favorite genres?
Favorite genres? I don't know. I don't really watch many movies.
Yeah, you said you don't watch TV or movies. That's strange to me.
I feel like lately I've been wanting to consume more because I feel like I've always lived more like experientially, where it's like I just want to experience everything, and now I'm getting a little bit older, and I'm like, no, I need to start reading more. I want to watch more movies, because at the end of the day, like every single thing that you do or read or see or hear changes the way that you see the world, and I think I need some different, like, I need to take in more, but I want it to be. My problem is I don't know where to start.
You should check out TV. TV is really cool.
Just start with TV. I feel like TV takes more time.
That's what's great about it.
I want to start with movies, because movies are like easier, right?
Well, if
TV takes up so much time.
Well, you said you're trying to like, get experiences, whatever. Movies are self-contained.
Okay.
TV show just goes on and on and on, especially like a sitcom or something like that. Dramas, I don't really like TV dramas because it's all based on suspense. Sitcoms are because it's like real life where like you don't learn anything. It's just like these people, and it's an infinite number of situations you can throw the characters into.
I guess so. I like Seinfeld and Friends and.
Oh, Friends is great.
I grew up on like I Love Lucy though and Gilligan's
I
Island.
love Lucy.
I grew up on TV Land, and so like anything else is weird. Like it just doesn't feel right to me. But the thing about sitcoms is those are the kinds of experiences I could get on my own in the real world. And so now I want experiences that other people like have already had and that they've thought about a lot. Because if you're going to make a movie or even a TV show, you must have put a lot of thought into like, every single moment.
That's true.
So I feel like it's just a quick way to learn stuff.
Oh boy. That's
right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know where to start. I feel like right now I'm so hungry for all of that, and I don't know where to begin.
Well, the good thing about movies is, they have like these lists of like the 100 best movies or whatever.
Yeah.
That's only 100 movies. So you can see all the best movies really easy.
That's true. It's also based on like whose opinion it is though. Because who do you trust when it's like...
I think people just agree on like what the best movies are. Citizen Kane's really great.
Yeah, I mean,
Gone with the Wind. Have you seen Gone with the Wind?
Yeah, I have seen Gone with the Wind.
That's the best.
So I have seen movies. I want to watch more.
Check out this great crossover, Turner Classic Movie Channel.
Right. I don't have cable.
Me neither. I want to get it.
I used to watch that a lot, though.
It's great.
Growing up TCM.
I used to, I'd just go through the guide on DirecTV of Turner Classic Movies. For like, they do it a week in advance. I'd be like, that looks good, that looks good. Just TiVo a bunch of stuff. Saw some great movies. A lot of stuff with Jack Lemmon, and I think I've seen almost every Billy Wilder movie on TCM, yeah. I think there's a Turner Classic Movie like streaming thing.
Really?
I gotta get that.
That would be great. I would love something like that.
That's what I realized is we have most of the streaming services, and we don't pay for any of them.
Right. That's how it is at my house too.
But we have like all of them. We don't even pay for Xbox Live.
Oh, I don't have that one.
Yeah.
What do you do with Xbox Live?
That's to like play like Call of Duty or whatever, but we don't play video games. It's just like our old roommate. It's on his credit card and he doesn't know. Yeah, so we could have that. But that's just how we get to Netflix. It's through the Xbox.
Oh, okay, so you use it for other things.
Yeah, but we have that. We have FXX. We have Hulu Plus.
Yeah.
I worked out a deal recently to get the WCW network for wrestling.
Oh, okay.
I want to get into wrestling. I don't.
But you want... That was your like big move.
I think I would like it.
I'm going to get into wrestling.
I think I would like wrestling.
Good. You like laid the foundation to build the hobby.
Yeah.
If you didn't have that channel, you wouldn't be able to start.
Yeah. So we gotta get that, but I want to get the Turner Classic Movies one.
Yeah, I didn't know it existed.
Basically, my goal is to just never have to leave the house.
And yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to leave the house often.
Well, cool. Well, speaking of leaving, Mukta, there's only 7 seconds
7
left of the
seconds.
program. It
What
went
does-
so quickly. So everyone, Anthony, thanks for sitting by in the studio audience. And for all of you out there, this is Papagan reminding you that there is a place you can go, and it's your mind. We'll see you next week. Good night.